Good evening, viewers. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Choudhary. The Kashmir Files have been revisited once again, this time by two prominent Valley politicians. At one end, you have Farooq Abdullah, who went on record today to say that the killings that are happening of Kashmiri Pandits, one of the main reasons of it is the Kashmir Files. On the other hand, it's not just Farooq Abdullah, viewers. PDP leader Mehbooba Mufti also came out and practically stated the same today. She said when we were in power, when militancy were at the helm of affairs, even at that point of time, there was no killings of Kashmiri Pandits like we see today, leading to the Rahul Bhatt killing of the Kashmiri Pandit who was killed just 2 days ago. She said that the film, like Kashmiri Files, is spreading an atmosphere of hatred, and that could very well be the reason why these killings are taking place. On the other account, viewers, the crew of Kashmiri Files says that all of these allegations are baseless. The film is factual. Kashmiri activists also say that what's the point of lamenting right now? People were in power, pointing to Farooq Abdullah. When the alleged genocide happened, you didn't do anything then. What is the point of right now saying what you are?
इस मीडिया को बंद करना चाहिए जो मीडिया इस वक्त नफरतें फैला रहा है सारे हिंदुस्तान में.
Two statements that have once again split open the Kashmir Files. One from NC patron Farooq, blaming the Kashmir Files movie for surge in targeted killings of Hindus.
फिल्म बेबुनियाद फिल्म जिसने न सिर्फ नफरत मुल्क में पैदा की है बल्कि यहाँ हमारे जवानों में भी नफरत हुई है कि हमारे तरफ कैसे सोच रहे हैं. जो मुसलमानों पे जुल्म हो रहा है इस वक्त हिंदुस्तान के कोनों में, वो हमारे बच्चों में भी एक लहर पैदा कर रहा है. ऐसी चीजों को बंद करना चाहिए.
The other statement from the Valley comes from PDP leader Mehbooba Mufti, blaming the movie Kashmir Files for triggering the attacks on Kashmiri Pandits. The most recent one being the killing of the Tehsil officer employee Rahul Bhatt in Budgam on May 10th.
आपने देखा 2010 में पीक अनरेस्ट, आपने 2016 में देखा पीक अनरेस्ट, मगर कोई खुदा ना खास्ता किलिंग नहीं हुई. मगर जो ये इस वक्त उन्होंने माहौल बनाया है, खासकर कश्मीर फाइल्स बनने के बाद, जो उन्होंने नफरत लोगों के दिलों में डाल दिए हैं.
Kashmir has never been an integral part of India, and this is
both claiming that the hate portrayed in the movie is making Kashmiri Muslims angry. Son Omar meanwhile mocked the plight of Kashmiri Pandits, branding them as BJP voters and therefore suffering.
बीजेपी के अलावा देखते नहीं थे, वो हमें आके मिलते थे, हमारे फंक्शनों में बैठते थे, लेकिन जब वोट डालने की बात आ रही है, वोट हम आपको नहीं देंगे. हम जब जाते थे जब उनके कैंपों में, बाकी जगहों में, वो सीधा कहते थे ना, ठीक है हम आपसे मिले, दो चार बातें भी हुई, लेकिन वोट हम आपको नहीं देंगे. वोट हमारा मोदी जी को जाएगा, वोट हमारा बीजेपी को जाएगा.
On the issue of Kashmiri Pandits, Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal also jumped in, stating that Pandits are still not made to feel safe by the current government.
मेरी सरकार से गुजारिश है कि कश्मीरी पंडितों को वापस कश्मीर में बसाने के लिए जो भी सुरक्षा व्यवस्था करनी पड़े वो करें. इसके लिए जितना भी खर्च हो वो खर्च किया जाए. प्रदर्शन करने वाले कश्मीरी पंडितों पे लाठी नहीं चलाई जाए. हमें उन्हें गले लगाना है, वो हमारे अपने हैं.
The Kashmiri Pandit community and the crew of the movie were outraged, calling it a defense of genocide.
Such an irresponsible statement, because tell me which film was responsible for all the killings till now? Kashmir Files is the latest film which is only exposing the truth. That means they're saying us blatantly that we should not be speaking our truths, right? And also half separatists like Dr. Farooq Abdullah, their role must be investigated.
The BJP too hit out at the Abdullahs, accusing them of offering kid gloves for radicals.
They were made refugees in their own country by an agenda of a certain set of people. They were murdered, women were raped. What all happened, the atrocities are unimaginable. That is real. That is the truth.
The genocide of Kashmiri Pandits and subsequent exodus in 1990 was one of India's most painful moments. It's sad, while the politics speaks over a particular film, the plight of the Pandits still collateral in this political war. With Sunilji Bhatt in Jammu and Ashrafani in Srinagar, Bureau Report, India Today.
So which political party is playing politics over the plight of Kashmiri Pandits, or all are equally party to it? Cutting across to our panelists, Najmu Sadiq, spokesperson PDP, Imran Nabi, spokesperson National Conference, Aparajita Sarangi, BJP MP. I'd like to cut across to the NC, National Conference spokesperson first. Imran Nabi, you know, if the film wasn't made, then what? Because ultimately the killings happened before the film, and it is correct to suggest that, you know, if your leader will come out and say because the film is made it's caused the killings, what happened? Because your party was in power when the killings took place. Why lament a film then?
First of all, we need to clarify. Dr. Saab never said that Mr. Rahul Bhatt was killed because of the Kashmir Files film. He never said that. What he said was the interpretation of his statement has been done in a very different way. What he said is that film generated, and what Mehbooba ji also said, it generated hate against Muslims. We have seen targeted attacks on Muslims after the film was released. That is what the leaders said. So you need to, reconsider, and you need to rephrase what you have said earlier. It is not, we have been, nobody can ignore, and nobody can not accept that whatever has happened has not happened. It has happened. We do not, nobody can deny it. But what I'm saying, what you are trying to allude to the current situation is that the killing has happened because of Kashmir Files. It is your interpretation which is making a mess of it. Now, the point what I'm making here is that we need to ask questions to the people who are at the helm of. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. I can hear you, Mr. Dar. Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is we need to, right now, rather than questioning people who are not in the government, as I will talk for National Conference, we have been out of government for the last 8 years. The party which is in power right now is the BJP. And I don't see enough questions and enough drilling is happening to BJP people, because they are the ones who are, they are running the show. They have been running the show in J&K for the last 8 years. And now completely for the last 3.5 years. So why aren't we asking them the questions? You have to understand one thing. This is not the first targeted killing that has happened. It has happened earlier also when Bindruji was shot dead inside his shop. And as not a politician, but as a
questions need to, yes, please complete.
Yeah, so not as a politician, but as a common citizen, I expect that government would have acted on such incidents. If there was a Pandit employee working in a government department, why was not security provided to the government employees around that office?
Mr. Dar, those questions, one second, sir.
These questions.
Sir,
we are deviating from the main.
Sir, Mr. Dar, you've had you say those questions will be asked to the BJP spokesperson. But having said that, Mr. Farooq Abdullah did say it, sir. We can play that reaction again. He also went on to pick out certain scenes from the film. Whether those scenes are true or not is separate. But he did pick them out and say that never happened, because that's inconclusive. Nobody quite knows if it happened or not. But I'll come back to you. Sir,
do you think we are beasts? Do you think Kashmiri Muslims are beasts? We would do that. We would put blood on rice. Are you trying to say that Kashmiri Muslims are beasts?
I'm not the one. I am not the one, but somebody, allegedly somebody's
lie. What?
Okay.
No,
you say it's a lie, but for someone it's their truth. I'll come back to
it's a complete lie. I reject it. We are not inhumans here. We are not monsters. Please do not paint us as monsters.
Sir, it's not, by the way, it wasn't about Kashmiri Muslims, it's about terrorists. And I would believe, like you believe, terrorists have no religion. Therefore, terrorists, Sir,
let me replay that.
Terrorists will go to any extreme. Not once did anyone say these were Kashmiri Muslims. But stay with me, would you? I want to bring in Najmu Sadiq as well, spokesperson PDP. Najmu Sadiq, because you know a lot is getting lost in translation, I will just quote what Mehbooba Mufti said, and please allow me that. She said, we created a safe atmosphere for Kashmiri Pandits. In 2010, 2016, during peak unrest, no killing happened. Now, this is the operative part, and I am quoting her, sir. The Kashmiri Files movie has also triggered it. Do you reckon that it is one film that has triggered the violence, Mr. Sadiq?
It's Najmu Sadiq. I lost you midway, but I'll just, complete. So I think there are two aspects of it. One, as my colleague Imran earlier said also, that the total responsibility of what is, happening in Jammu and Kashmir, it directly the onus lies on BJP. Having said that, we, Jammu Kashmir, the political party, the major political parties in Jammu and Kashmir, kept all their political differences aside and went and met with LG Saab to express solidarity with the minority community and to express condolences and to present a united front against these selective killings. But what do we see in the rest of the country when Muslims are lynched, when Muslims are killed, mosques are bulldozed? We don't see any of that solidarity happening anywhere in the world. We kept all our political differences aside. Right? That's number one point. Number second point, what Mehbooba ji said in the press conference was that if you feel that Muslims are the problem, they are the ones who are hampering the growth of the India, why don't you make a list public which mosques you want to claim once and for all? But there is a condition. If you can return, if you provide 2 crore employment to the poor people, if you can provide 15 lakh to the common man, if the growth rate increases, if the hate between Muslims and Hindus just vanishes away. And I heard a bizarre argument from a BJP leader earlier who said that these Muslim architecture, they are a symbol of slavery and oppression which are still present there. If they are a symbol of slavery and oppression, what will happen to those architecture which were built by the British? We were under colonial rule for hundreds of years.
The debate is on Kashmiri Files and the statement made by the leaders and what the government is doing, not about the Gyanvapi mosque. Just want to get you back into the debate.
I just wanted to my point is simple. If Kashmiri minority community has felt threatened and they have publicly gone and said that we feel insecure, what has government done? There was Ajay Bharti ji who was killed, Pandita ji who was killed, Bindru ji who was killed, now Rahul. But for your viewers, he was working in a Tehsildar office, which is a magistrate office.
Mr. Sadiq, fair point, and this is a question I will ask.
And that is one point.
Sir,
the second point is that in the parliament, Ministry of State for Home Affairs said on the table of the Rajya Sabha that 86 civilians, that list has been updated, which is 100 now. And out of 100, post August 5, 2019, 16 Kashmiri Pandits have been killed. Where are the promises of the government who said that after 2000 abrogation of 370 and 35?
Fair point. We'll take the point to the BJP spokesperson, but I will come back to the moot question which I also asked you. Is it that a film? Whether the film is factually correct, incorrect aside, do you think a film has triggered killings?
Well, are you asking me?
Of course, you're representing your party.
Are you asking me?
Yes, sir, you're representing your party. I am asking you.
Yeah, sorry, I lost you there. So my point is, the film was, the sort of enmity that it brewed between communities, painting every Kashmiri as a terrorist, painting every Kashmiri as complicit in what happened with the Kashmiri Pandit, our brothers. Imagine there is an exodus of Kashmiri Pandits, the second exodus of Kashmiri Pandits on the anvil.
Has the film led to the killing, sir? Was that a wrong statement to make?
No, it is not. I'm on record saying Kashmiri Pandits have, they have signed a letter saying that we want to resign en masse and go back to Jammu. We don't feel secure here in Kashmir.
You think that
if you want to help Kashmiri
so
Muslims,
your party's viewpoint is it happened because of the film.
Who are you going to responsible now? If there is an exodus now, who will you hold responsible? Will you hold the government responsible?
Okay, you still haven't answered my question, but I will come back to the both of you. Allow me to bring in the BJP MP here, spokesperson, Aparajita Sarangi. Ms. Sarangi, the fact is, number one, Kashmiri Pandits are getting killed in the valley. Where is the security provided to them? Number two, Kashmiri Pandits are protesting. They are being lathi charged. They are being detained. What is it that they've done? Other than lip service, what is it that the government has done? The allegation is you've made political capital of the plight of the Pandits. You've done nothing for them.
At the outset, let me say that we strongly condemn the killing of Rahul Bhatt. He was an innocent government employee, and Lashkar-e-Islam, the terrorist organization, people have killed him, and we are all aware of this fact. Now, having said this, let me tell you, as far as Kashmir Files movie is concerned, this is a shocking revelation of the kind of torture that was inflicted on the Kashmiri Pandits, and the likes of Mahbooba Mufti and Farooq Abdullah do not like this movie just because this movie shows the mirror to these people. You know, they have to accept when they were there, the kind of situation that the Kashmiri Pandits were in. I think this is high time they should accept, and they should not actually bring a particular movie into the picture and say that it is because of this movie that there is hatred all over. Now let me tell you, after the abrogation of Article 370 and Article 35A, the Union government, the Ministry of Home Affairs under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Shri Amit Shahji are trying their best to ensure that there is peace and normalcy on the land of Jammu and Kashmir. Now let me tell you, development is a process. It will take some time. You can see, you can go by the statistics. Things are improving. We can't say that things are not improving. This is wrong. In every sphere, we are trying to kind of, do something positive. There is a kind of atmosphere of positivity that we are trying to create. Atmosphere of safety and security. Yes, it is unfortunate that Rahul Bhatt was killed. And then the representatives of the opposition parties, the PDP and the NC, all these people have gone to the Lieutenant Governor, and you know what happened there. A special investigation team has been constituted to investigate into the killing of Sri Rahul Bhatt. Very unfortunate. I reiterate, a terrorist organization has created...
Mrs. Sarangi, may I come in, ma'am? Ms. Sarangi, I want to ask you one question. Let's say, ma'am, I want to ask you one follow-up question to what you've just said. Let's say the government of the NC, Farooq Abdullah, Umar Abdullah, ineffective. Let's say the PDP government ineffective. Is your government that ineffective that more Kashmiri Pandits have died under your rule, President's rule, under your rule in the valley than they did ever? Not ever, but not during the genocide, but after the genocide under the PDP and the NC?
I would say that we are putting in our best efforts to ensure that there is normalcy, and let me tell you very emphatically that there are people, there are terrorist organizations who would like to destabilize the atmosphere of peace that we are all trying to create. I would reiterate this, ma'am,
in terms of security, what is it that the BJP has done to provide security to the Kashmiri Pandits? Of late, visuals of Kashmiri Pandits weeping, being lathi charged, being locked up when they were protesting the killing of Rahul Bhatt. That's all happened under your watch. See, not under Mr. Abdullah's watch or Ms. Mufti's watch, your watch.
See, to undo the situation of fear, the situation of hatred created by these people over a period of time, it would take some time. And let me tell you,
does that include lathi charging? Does that include tear gassing, lathi charging Kashmiri Pandits?
We are putting in best efforts to ensure that there is normalcy. As I told you, SIT has been constituted.
Ms. Sarangi, does that include tear gassing and lathi charging Kashmiri Pandits who are protesting the killing of their own?
It's not a question of lathi charging Kashmiri Pandits. I think we need to rephrase our statements. See,
ma'am, that's what happened. Tear gas and lathi charge.
To ensure law and order in the area, the law and order machinery will resort to many activities. See, we have to accept that. But I tell you, overall, we are trying to create an atmosphere of peace and positivity. See, we cannot interfere with the activities of the law and order machinery. It's not on the Kashmiri Pandits. We are very much with the Kashmiri Pandits. We are very much with the people of Kashmir. It's not just the Kashmiri Pandits. We talk of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, or Sabka Saath. In fact, we need everybody's help, and we need to win the faith of everybody. So it's not a question of just Kashmiri Pandits. We stand by the people of Kashmir, and we are putting in our best efforts. Yes.
Ma'am, today the Kashmiri Pandits feel alienated. They feel you attacked them because lathis went on them. Tear gas, they were tear gas because they were protesting their own. They feel insecure today.
No,
and the charge is that political capital is being made by the BJP at the back of a film that represents them at the back of their plight. What is it that has actually happened for them on ground? But I want to bring back...
See, I tell you, this is absolutely lack of common sense. Why should the BJP government try to create an atmosphere of unrest in Jammu and Kashmir? Just a question. We want peace, we want security,
Imran,
we want
Nabidar,
safety. Why should we do that?
Quick statement, 30 seconds to the both of you. Imran, Nabidar, can you completely wash your hands and say it's one film that did it? Because that's mocking. That's mocking the plight of the Kashmiri Pandits too.
See, as far as the film is concerned, I don't want to go into the film, how it was made. I mean, there are many things that I might not be comfortable with, but it has shown one side of the story. It has not shown the full picture of the Kashmir. So let us not go into
the other side of a story of one-sided killing?
It has completely ignored
the
plight of Kashmiri Muslims.
The side is that close to 1 lakh Kashmiris have also died.
Muslims have died. The number of victims.
Mr. Sadiq, you wanted to come and make your point.
It's Mr. Saqib, but let me finish my point. Let me counter Sarangi. Give me 1 minute, just 1 minute. On
30
fact,
seconds, sir,
CRPF just a couple of days presented a report that the growing militancy is a cause of concern. One, which busters the narrative of having restored peace in Jammu and Kashmir. Number second, is this the peace? Is this the measure of security peace that 100 civilians have lost their lives post abrogation of Article 370, out of which 16 Kashmiri Pandits have also lost their lives? Is this the mark of peace? Number third point, if this is my point, if the peace in Jammu and Kashmir has been restored, why are they running away from elections? Why? And the other point is that why is India, there was a report just 2 days back that 9 crore Indians are on the verge of hunger by 2030. For God's sake, when are we going to fight this Hindu and Muslim fight forever? How? You talk about Kashmiri Files. What about those hundreds and thousands of those Kashmiris who have lost their lives?
May I, with permission of all three of you, can I bow out of this debate?
Of this country?
I have all the time for. I apologize, Ms. Sarangi. I know you wanted to come in. Apologies there, but I'm going to quickly wrap up this debate. I'm going to leave it for our viewers to decide. In midst of all political parties, when we say all, is the collateral the plight of the Pandits? Is the question we leave it at. We'll leave it for you to decide.